Well, it turns out shorting Tesla is bad for business. Who knew? Tesla news for the week of April 11th, Part 1. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. Tesla finished the week at $677, down 4% for the week, despite strong delivery figures. Compare that with the Dow Jones, up 1.5%. The Senpai 500, up 2.5%, and the Nasdaq up 2%. Tesla finally gets an outperform rating from long-term bull Wedbush with a higher price target. So yeah, this is great. Daniel Ives has upgraded his rating on the company for the first time to outperform and added the automaker to his top picks. They've always loved Tesla, and, apart from the bears, who doesn't? So this is just kind of great news, especially considering the stock was trading so much higher before. Yeah, being at $670 does leave some headroom for investors to make money. On the other side of it, Not an Analyst has tweeted, well, it turns out shorting Tesla is bad for business. Who knew? Jim Chanos' assets under management shrank to $400 million at the end of 2020, compared to $1 billion a year before and $7 billion in 2008. I don't know, man. If you were shorting Tesla during that amazing run-up, I just don't know. In other, good news, Tesla raised the prices of its Model 3 and Model Ys by $500, its fourth price change of the year. On the whole, Tesla has made its vehicles more expensive rather than less. So with the price going down, the bears would say, well, there's no demand. So with the price going up, I suspect the narrative will be they just can't produce enough and they have to raise the price to curtail demand. They're not consistent. Wall Street Journal is reporting EV companies went public with big plans. They're quickly hitting snags. And yes, it's true. It turns out it is actually very difficult to create a car company. In terms of companies that have reached mass production, the most recent IPO would be, Tesla. And before that, 50, 60 years ago, 70? It's really hard to do. And for that matter, in terms of large producers of automobiles in the US, only two companies have never gone bankrupt, Ford and Tesla, making Tesla the second oldest car company in the US. And yeah, it's difficult. Self-driving car startup Waymo lost $170 billion in value in a year and a half. And what we're starting to see is that investors are starting to realize that self-driving is an impossibly tough nut to crack. And yeah, I'd like to think that they're a few months from production. When they made their debut years ago with all these amazing flashy demos, I was just sure we were 2, maybe 3 years from full autonomy. And yet, they lost their CEO last month, and they lost the head of their autonomous trucking division. Same mission, new journey. I'm just gonna jump ship right before the product comes out. Well, I don't think that's plausible. The product ain't coming out anytime soon. Further to the complication of making EVs, bad software is turning some Mustang Mach-E's into electric bricks. You have to tow the car to the dealership for them to fix it. It seemed that legacy automakers would be able to just switch gears and produce EVs, but apparently it's not quite that easy. The Boring Company has done the impopsicle and finished their tunnel in Vegas, which is outfitted with, as you can see, a hodgepodge of random Teslas. Now, I would like to see this tunnel use actually self-driving cars, which they hope to do at some point. But the big news is that it was $53 million for the entire project, including the stations, when normally tunneling projects run $100 million to billions per mile. Don't forget to leave a comment to be entered into the drawing for the monthly merch giveaway, and subscribe if you appreciate the content. Green the Only tweeted about this interesting that phone use for Tesla means drivers holding a phone in front of them, not drivers talking on a phone that's pressed to their ear. Look at that. It's got these stats showing exactly how much on your phone you are. And this is great. A big complaint about Tesla's autonomy has been that it doesn't do enough to monitor the driver's behavior, and apparently now it does. Tesla China has put out this really clever recruiting video with Franz. Let's take a look at it here. Basically, he's doing some graffiti, and I forget what it says. China design, China something. And she shows him a design, and he's like, who made this? Who did this? Close enough, close enough. I'll never be as charming as Franz. But it's great. China's looking for some great, clever designers to make new, innovative, market-specific products, and this is how you conquer the East. Tesla has announced discount charging in the LA area. If you charge during off-peak hours, it's half price. And to go along with that, to make the numbers make sense, if you charge during peak hours, it's 5 cents more than it used to be. Recording artist Elon Musk has tweeted, "Almost ready with FSD Beta version 9.0. Step change improvement is massive, especially for weird corner cases and bad weather. Pure vision, no radar." Whole Mars catalog was like, I'd love to hear why that, and I mean, you're abandoning radar? Does this mean you can remove the radar from production, or will it still be included as a backup? Elon, remove. So that's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, because I'm not smart enough to understand the workings of FSD and Dojo. Tasmanian is reporting refreshed Tesla Model S deliveries to Indiana may begin in 3 weeks, VINs being assigned. Well, this started as a rumor on Reddit and, of course, spiraled into an article on Tasmanian and then went back to Reddit as a link to an article to validate the original rumor. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Though I am pretty frustrated with the delay in the rollout of the new Model S and X. Teslarati is reporting Tesla sales in Japan rise 1,300% year over year, propelled by a wave of Model 3 orders, and of course it's Model 3. That's the best seller, and 1,300% just tells me they weren't selling any before. You don't get numbers like that out of nowhere. Well, specifically, nowhere is where you would have to start from. So while good news, it's not exactly earth-shattering. Car and Driver is reporting, running on empty. There's a lot to like about hydrogen if you can find it. Owners of the Toyota Mirai are finding that in the handful of places where you're supposed to be able to get hydrogen for your fuel cell vehicle, you just ain't gonna find it. Nearly 17 years after Governor Newsom took a sip of tomorrow, customers are finding it difficult to fill up and almost impossible to offload their cars when reality sets in. Yeah, it's not great. Hydrogen's a dead end. Most hydrogen production is not renewable and it is not green. It comes from the extraction from natural gas, which, ain't helping. Tesla rolls out clever Pre-fab SuperCharger model for faster installation. Look at this thing. It's a cement block with everything already installed on it. Basically, you just need flat ground with a hard enough surface to place it, wire it up, and you're done. So this would be great. It would take a lot of the burden off of the installers who may have to figure out a bunch of stuff and make it kind of plug and play, which would be a pretty fantastic innovation if it can scale, and why couldn't it? Stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you clever robots in a few hours, maybe, when I finish editing the rest of the news. Yeah.